There's only really two ways for you to quit drinking caffeine. The most obvious way for people to quit caffeine altogether is to just stop and give it up. That is exactly what I did. That is probably what you are thinking that you should be doing too, but it's not going to work. See, and you're probably like me if you think that going cold turkey is the way to go. I had that exact same thought, thinking, well, I want to quit my addiction right now. I want to take action right now. And I don't want to deal with this anymore. The problem that you'll run into, you think you won't run into it, but you really will, is that once you do go completely cold turkey and you stop it, you are going to hit with these withdrawals. By the way, if you don't know who I am, my name is Aman, and I made it to day 50 without consuming any coffee, consuming any energy drink, consuming any tea, anything with caffeine at all. And I'm here to help you quit caffeine for good. Because at the end of the day, caffeine is a drug. We're so used to consuming coffee that we don't really think that it's a drug because it's so normal. Like everyone consumes caffeine, but it doesn't change the fact that it is still a drug. And just like any other drug, just like alcohol, just like weed, just like perks, you are going to experience withdrawals. And the more caffeine you've been consuming, the more stronger the withdrawals are going to be. So if you don't want to deal with these withdrawals, I really do suggest you don't cut it off immediately. Will you get results faster? Of course, if you manage to survive the withdrawals, but the withdrawals suck, man. Like, you are going to not want to do anything but lay down on your couch. I'm talking like sleeping all day but still feeling tired. These headaches that feel like somebody's drilling a drill into your head and there's nothing you could do about it. You could take all the Tylenol you want, all the Advils you want, you are still gonna deal with these headaches, and like the only way for it to go away is to go to sleep. And then you also have such insane brain fog. Like, you could try focusing on something, but your mind is not gonna function. Your brain won't want to function. By the way, if you want more content on quitting caffeine, leave a comment and subscribe. It'll help the algorithm push my videos, and I'd be able to build a community on YouTube for people trying to quit caffeine, so we'd all be in this together. Do you remember when you first started drinking coffee and how just like half a cup of coffee would get your mind racing? I remember when I first had coffee, my mind was racing like 200 miles per minute. I having thousands of thoughts every single second, and it's like I can't control myself. I'm just this super hyperactive kid, and I fell in love with the drug because I've never felt like this before, where my mind is just moving at like such insane speed. I'm able to get so much work done because I don't want to sit still. I want to go run around the house and go do a bunch of chores. Very quickly, I realized, okay, this is literally a miracle drug. I can keep consuming this and I'll be productive like forever. That didn't last very long, and I'm sure you can relate to that. After your first cup of coffee, like, you are stuck chasing that high again, feeling like Superman with this newfound productivity. But as you continue to drink more and more coffee, more and more caffeine, it doesn't happen as much anymore. I remember there came a point where caffeine was basically useless. Like, that just one cup of coffee, it was practically useless. So since one cup of coffee wasn't working, I figured, let me try 2 cups of coffee and see what happens. Once I had my second cup of coffee, I got those same benefits back. I got that feeling of euphoria back, where my mind is just back on like the treadmill again, moving at 500 miles per second. This eventually, like, you know this too, like, eventually that stopped working as well. There was a time where I had this energy drink that had like 300 milligrams of caffeine, which is equivalent to like 3 cups of coffee, 3.5. I had this energy drink. I chugged the energy drink and I was bouncing up and down the walls. And I've never been able to recreate that experience again because I became addicted to energy drinks. You might be asking yourself, why is that relevant? Why does it matter if I went from 1 can of coffee, 1 can of caffeine to 2 cans of caffeine, or like 1 cup of coffee to 2 cups of coffee? Well, you started off at 1 cup. You did not start off at 2 cups of coffee. You didn't start off at 3 cups of coffee. Imagine if you first started drinking caffeine and you started off with 2 monsters, like right off the bat with 0 caffeine experience. You would be in the hospital and you're probably going to pass out because that's way too much caffeine for somebody who is inexperienced with consuming caffeine. You have to gradually increase the dosage until you get to that point for it to be effective for you. Otherwise, you are not going to have a fun time. So if increasing it gradually is what helps you develop that tolerance, then for you to lower that tolerance, you got to do it in reverse. You got to decrease it slowly. If you are having, this is my second day of not having any caffeine. I was having 3 cups of coffee. I'm having 2 now. And it's like, you might think to yourself, well, what is the point of moving slowly? Like, I want to go fast. You don't want to do that. You have to kind of hold your brain's hand across the bridge. You got to walk yourself across the bridge to be able to get to the other side. You can imagine like the type of bridges you see in movies where it's just this flimsy little bridge that is connected from one cliff to the other, and all you see underneath you are spikes. And you have like missing planks across the bridge, so you really have to be careful if you're watching your step. The bridge is probably also really creaky. It's swinging back and forth because it's windy. The wood panels are also like breaking, so you need to be careful not to put too much force on it. This is the type of bridge that it's in your brain right now. You try running across this bridge, you'll either trip and fall, you either break through the panels, you'll be too scared. What I found most beneficial, and what you might actually find more beneficial, is to lower the difficulty. Make it easier for you to quit, because if you try going from 2 cups of coffee to 0, your brain is going to freak out on you. Your brain wants to be in homeostasis. That basically means that it wants to be the same. That is why when, if you've ever gone on a diet, you lose a lot of weight, but then you'll end up maintaining that weight and you won't lose weight as fast. Same way like the other way, like if you try increasing your calorie consumption, try eating food to gain more weight, eventually your body will stabilize so that it's not losing any weight, it's not gaining any weight, because that is your new baseline. Your body will do whatever it can to keep you in homeostasis. So the same thing goes with coffee. If you are consuming 2 cans of Ghost energy drinks and you go to 0, your brain's gonna freak out, because it's like, where's my caffeine? And it's gonna give you all these headaches, it's gonna give you this nausea, it's gonna make you feel tired all day. You don't want to deal with that. I understand that it's really slow, but you also got to realize that it wasn't a fast progress for you to get addicted in the first place. So why should it be a fast progress for you to quit too? You know how when you go to the gym, in your first week you might be benching 100 pounds, for example. The next week you are now benching 105 pounds. Next week after that, 110 pounds. Slowly you just keep increasing the weight, you increase the reps, because that is how you grow your muscles. That is how you grow in strength. That's called progressively overloading. What you want to do is progressively deload. So if you are, for example, having 3 cups of coffee right now, consume 2 cups. Once you've gotten used to drinking 2 cups, then you lower it down to 1 cup. And once you've gotten used to drinking 1 cup of coffee, that's when you lower it to 0. The benefits of this is that you are not having those withdrawal symptoms hit you as intensely as if you'd had gone completely cold turkey, like you just stop it completely. And it makes the process easier because you're holding your brain's hand across the bridge so that your brain doesn't freak out on you, which is why I suggest you just taper it out. Go from 3 to 2 to 1. Go from 2 cans of Monster to a can and a half of Monster to a can of Monster to eventually quitting Monster altogether, because that is what's going to give you long-term success. You don't want short-term success, because you might just crash out and end up relapsing again, because that usually what happens when people try to quit their addictions cold turkey. They end up relapsing. So if you want to stop relapsing, you're going to have to taper it down. So those are the 2 ways for you to stop consuming caffeine. I will see you in the next video.